Good evening and welcome to Realty Coffee Talk on Awaz Entertainment in Canada around the world. My name is Tahir Qureshi. I'm a fellow of Royal Institute of Canada, broker of record for City Pro Realty Inc. brokerage. My passion is real estate and your success is my priority. Tonight we pick up a topic, 10-step guide to selling your home. We're going to go one by one what steps that you have to take to sell your home. And also after the finish on the second half, we're going to give you market update about selling a house in Toronto GTA area by TREB Regional Report Market Watch. So first step, decide when to sell the home. This is very important to find out. The first step is to find out the status, whether it is a seller's market or buyer's market. When you have too many properties in the market and few buyers, then is buyer's market. When their properties are selling and there are limited supply of listing and lots of buyer, that's a buyer market. And with this stress test increase of benchmark rate by the Bank of Canada, it has created a environment where challenges are there, what to buy or when to sell. And all it depends is your circumstances. How quickly do you need to sell your house? Question is, have you lost a job? Have your income has reduced? Your financial capacity to maintain the house to avoid any default payment on your house, you need to sell. So each person, each homeowner have different circumstances under which they have to sell the house. This is the private information that you are discussing with your licensed broker or listing agent working for a brokerage. But you know that why you put the property in the market with these conditions. We have kind of situation where any property that is below $1.2 million, there are still multiple offers because your price of townhome and condo has gone so much. And if you need to upgrade to a detached home to sell it, then you have to pay a price and there's a multiple offer going on. But higher value property takes time, and average price time can range maybe 30 to 45 days to sell a property, particularly if you're talking about the 1.5 to 2.5 or $3 million. So it's up to you. You understand why are your financial needs, why you need to quickly sell your home. And also, you need to prepare the property. We're going to talk about those things. And if it's a buyer market, they want to get a bargain. They feel impression that you are selling a property. You must be a reason under these circumstances to sell. But that is not a justification. Most important thing is the calculation of the value of the property. We're going to talk about that later on. The other thing is, are you planning to buy a house before you sell your house, or you are selling to buy the selling and then buying a house? Have you found your dream house? Because if you are selling and you're also going to buy it, but if you went ahead and bought it and your property is not sold, you're going to be under stress. You might end up selling for less because you need to make a deal. You already made a commitment and you need the financing or money from closing of this deal in order to buy a property. Or if you already bought it, then you already hope that you have bought it with escape clause because you want to sell your property. What happens is if you go ahead and buy it and you haven't sold your property, and what will happen, the change of prices or your expectation. Lots of the time, the seller has a mindset. They want certain amount of money, but the market is not supporting that value that you're expecting. When you put on MLS system, is a very transparent and disclosure all around the world. People can buy it from anywhere. They can fly in to buy your house as long as they're legally qualified as a resident of Canada, and they can purchase your home. But what happens is, if your expected price is not what you got and what you received the offer, and you already bought it, so you need to bridge the gap. You get the loan. You're going to have a different type of challenge that you're going to face. And this is why you need to avoid that. Idea is, sometimes you want to sell to buy a particular property, and then you sold it and that property is gone. I have a situation where one of my buyer client, and seller is also mine, wanted to buy this property. But their property, they listed but didn't sell. But property that I was selling, I have a good offer from other cooperating broker, so we sold it. So I later on canceled the listing for the buyer who wanted to buy the property. It is our duty, fiduciary duty, honesty, professionalism. Do it what is in the best interest of your client to maintain the confident trust of consumer in real estate profession. So I didn't care whether I was getting more money or less. What is in the best interest of my seller? And I sold it, and they got the best price and sold. And I later canceled the listing of the other buyer who wanted to buy the property. So again, is very important question is, are you buying it for downsizing, selling it for downsizing, or you plan to buy a house to sell for relocation purposes or downsizing it, or you found the property that you dream home, that you bought it already and now you need to sell it. And make sure, create a conservative budget to make sure if there is a gap between the price that you sold or the property that you purchased, there will be appraised value. If there is any decline in the price, then you will have to fill the gap, because bank will not give you the full amount that you agree in a purchase agreement, because they are very conservative and they want to normally get appraisal. And bank appraisals are a little bit conservative because they want to protect their investment. So be careful about it. Now, second one is finding a realtor who is right for you. This is very important. When you are dealing with real estate professionals, there are about 110,000 realtors who are licensed with our regulator RICO in the province of Ontario. And they're all licensed to practice, whether salesperson, broker, or broker record. The difference is some may have extra credentials, special training, education, experiences, and background. For example, I'm a fellow of Rules Institute of Canada. There are very few, in hundreds out of 110,000 in Ontario, who are FRI, fellow of Rules Institute of Canada. I'm also a certified real estate specialist from Rules Institute of Canada. I'm a CIPS, certified international property specialist, because I have a global network where we refer clients. If you want to buy a property in Florida, Germany, England, France, Dubai, anywhere, I have my own global network, professionals who are licensed in that jurisdiction, and they have experience. As you know, I am a director and senior vice president of Park Home Builder, a HCRA registered builder and vendor. I have all the credentials approved by HCRA to get the license for builder. So I can talk about construction technology, housing, legal issues in real estate, and other things that relates to home. So you need to know that when you are hiring someone, interview people. At least 3 people. Go to reco.on.ca. There is a guidelines how to hire a realtor. Talk to the people who have experience, friends and family. And always look at Google. Google is the best thing to do. Look at the Google who has a 5-star rating. I have a Google 5-star rating, my company. So you can always call us 905-785-9923. We are ready to help you. So selecting a realtor, you know why? Because they have a wealth of knowledge. They have experience. Only difference is knowledge and experience. Everybody has a license to practice in Ontario, but the knowledge and experience and skill sets are different from one person to another. And it's important to interview multiple people when you are selling the property and get some good feeling, references, testimonials. And I think Google is the best one. We have 5-star Google review for the client. We don't even ask clients to give a review. Whoever puts there, we really appreciate it. And then you talk to the people who have done the project. It's very, very important. Interviewing candidate is very important for you to do it. Then you are signing a listing. Now, signing a listing, you are committing with the brokerage that you are my exclusive brokerage to sell your property. And you talk about when you are listing the property, and this is very important, you have to have a good relation, a bond with the person that you want to deal with. You have a confidence, you have interviewed that person, because that person, salesperson, broker, or broker record, is working on behalf of the brokerage. There is a law, Real Estate Business Broker Act, soon to be TRESA, Trust and Real Estate Service Act 2002, soon to be. There are changes happening, and you can always go to reco.on.ca on their social media. Amazing videos, educating consumer. It's a consumer protection agency. They regulate the real estate profession in Ontario. So we get education requirement, registration requirement, and compliance program and consumer protection program. When you give deposit to a brokerage when we buy and sell, that deposit remains in trust account under Section 27 of the Real Estate Business Broker Act. The Business Broker Act, because nobody can touch that. When you are able to sell and deal the close, that time the money transfers, surplus money goes to the seller and the balance goes to the commission. And then obviously, and your deposit that is gone there, it remains protected. And this is why it's very important to deal with this. Also, when you talk to a listing brokerage, you will have a comparative market analysis. Create analysis. You know what your needs are. Lots of people are buying the property without analyzing the true value of their property. It's very, very important to have a written plan or open discussion with the family to talk about what is the real value, what are the expectations, what are the needs of your client. If they cannot produce. Yesterday, I listed a property which is coming in the market tomorrow. They call me and they love the property because it has a beautiful a pool. It's Muskoka-like environment right here in the city of Mississauga. It will be coming on the market tomorrow. You can look for 5121 Park Place Circle in Mississauga in East Credit. So I evaluated the information about the person who wants to buy it even before it coming. I said, no, it has to be on MLS before anything can be entertained. So I look at the evaluation of the property for her, and their budget was way less. So I told her, can you handle the gap between this potential price of this house that you want with a pool or the price of your house? She said, no, I can't do that. I can only go up to this amount. I said, thank you very much. I did help her. I got the square footage. She was telling me almost 200 square feet less than what she bought. And I have more detail because I bought the report. So I told her, no, you can't buy that house because you can't afford it, because of the gross family income. So this is what you do. So when your client wants to buy the property, to make sure you look at C and give them a conservative figure they can use to rely on in order to buy their dream home if they are buying it. This is very, very important. Also, we put on a strategy. Multiple listing MLS system is one of the biggest broadcasting exposure for any home you will get is MLS system. So we're going to take a short break. We'll come back and continue our conversation on Steps Guide to Selling Your Home.
हसीन लगना तो सभी चाहते हैं, मगर हुस्न का निखार तभी मुमकिन है जब आपका स्टाइलिस्ट हो एक्सपर्ट एंड क्वालिफाइड। ब्यूटी बार एंड ब्राइडल, ऑल एक्सपर्टीज इन वन पॉइंट। हमारे यहाँ थ्रेडिंग, लेटेस्ट फेशियल ट्रीटमेंट, बेस्ट बॉडी वैक्सिंग, मेकओवर जैसा आप चाहें, जबरदस्त ब्राइडल पैकेज, मैनिक्योर, पेडिक्योर, केराटिन ट्रीटमेंट, क्रायो हेयर ट्रीटमेंट और बहुत कुछ जो आपके हुस्न को चार चांद लगा दे। तो देर किस बात की, अभी विजिट कीजिए ब्यूटी बार एंड ब्राइडल। वी आर लोकेटेड एट 5150 डिक्सी रोड, यूनिट 6, मिसिसागा। अवार्ड विनिंग इंडियन ब्यूटी सैलून। For appointments, call now 437-324-2885. Beauty Bar and Bridal, one-stop beauty salon.
HK Movers, home, offices, apartments and delivery, big or small, we move it all.
HK Movers.
Local and long distance, we also ship cars, Keller transport and moving services.
For service with a smile, give us a call.
Call Mr. Harminder 416-524-6704.
416-524-6704 पे.
Visit 140 Advanced Boulevard, Unit number 10, Brampton.
Long distance moving specialist.
HK Movers. HK Movers.
Welcome to EB Electronics. Please call 647-762-3956.
डिक्सी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स और अप्लायंसेस पिछले 16 सालों से खरीदारों की खिदमत कर रहे हैं। हम लगातार 4 सालों से खरीदारों की पहली पसंद बने रहने का अवार्ड हासिल कर चुके हैं। हम किचनर्स, बॉश, वर्लपूल, एलजी, सैमसंग और जनरल इलेक्ट्रिक के ऑथराइज्ड डीलर हैं। 5 स्टार खिदमत का लुत्फ लें। हम आप सभी को टीवी सबसे ज्यादा रियायती दामों पर देने की गारंटी देते हैं। www.dixieelectronics.ca हमारी वेबसाइट पर जाएं या अभी कॉल करें 905-625-5900। सभी बहुत ही मुनासिब कीमत पर दस्तयाब हैं जो आप बाआसानी से ले सकते हैं। At Dixie, we sell quality and deliver confidence.
Zoc. Now it's fully renovated. Live catering, barbecue, tandoor, जलेबियाँ और fresh naan. तकरीब आपके घर में हो या घर से बाहर, Zoc is providing full service now, and Zoc has opened a new banquet hall, garden event center. आपका Zoc देखकर लोग कहेंगे क्या Zoc है आपका? Call right now 905-625-7786. Zoc वालों के लिए.
Good evening and welcome to Realty Coffee Talk on Awaz Entertainment. My name is Tahir. I'm a fellow Rolls Issue of Canada broker of record for City Pro Realty Brokerage. We're talking about step 3, signing a listing agreement. So I'm going to talk about whether you want exclusive, you want an MLS, multi-listing service. So our brokerage, we have a Toronto Regional Real Estate Board MLS and an ITSO MLS because we're a member of Mississauga Board. So important thing is price, party's name. What is the real estate commission that you have to talk is an agreement. Legal description of the property, completion date, how the home will be shown on MLS. On our professional system, we don't show the name of the seller. Is only available to the professional because they need to create an offer. But on realtor.ca, you won't see that. And what is included or excluded? And these are chattels and fixture that you put in the agreement. And also property information statement if you have one, and be honest, and any imperfection that you have to indicate to your client, and be honest. Honesty is the best policy. You best disclose. If the realtor is also related to the seller, disclose, or any buyer is related to a realtor, disclose. And this is all disclosure to make sure we be transparent. The fourth step is determining your home asking price. So this is where the challenge is. We're going to share some information about June report. It seemed like sales are going up. June prices at 22 versus 23 have increased 3.2%. We have a less property for sale as compared to what we have. Active listing is less than what we have in June last year. So I'm going to share that toward the end of this program. So goal is a fair market value you want to get. And also your circumstances are dictating you how soon do you need to sell the house. So be reasonable based on reasonable estimate and analysis of sold data excuse me, available to you. So work with your realtor to help you, guide you. But the decision is yours as a principal, what price you want to put on the MLS. But it has to be reasonable, because nobody want to take a chances. You don't want buyers to walk away if you underlist and people say, oh, it's going to go up anyway, why we should have participated. And they're not a healthy competition. It's very important. And also calculate the market value of your house with CMA in the neighborhood where your house is. Lots of people, oh, that's Lakeshore property sold for so much. Wow, how come my Meadowvale property is selling for this? Hey, that's far away. Meadowvale itself is a community. Lisgar is a community. Churchill Meadow is a community. Mineola is a community. So you need to stay within demographic. So first you look at the street, then you look at the neighborhood, then you look at the community. Then you are able to analyze and create plus minus 1-2%. That would be the price. But if you list 1.5 and it's sold for 1.8, something is wrong, because you have underlisted the property. It's a false impression. And then when your appraisal comes and get the low value, then you have a problem, because you got excited and you put a big offer in your bidding war. No. As a seller, you want to make sure that you have created a budget that you really need that money, or you don't sell it. And this is very important. First impression matters, because they're looking at your value. When you create estimate value, it includes your curb appeal, interior upgrades that you have done, look, size of the house, lot sizes, finished basement, not finished basement, separate entrance, no separate entrance. You have a with permit or no permit. These are all consideration. And 9-foot ceiling, 8-foot ceiling, 10-foot ceiling, how the floor plan, all these matters when you're calculating an estimated market value of property. So it's very important to listen to your realtor. And also get a lawyer. Get a lawyer to your team, because you are going to pay him fee to close the deal. So I always suggest that as a seller, have a lawyer. When the offer comes in, you can have them run through your lawyer if you want. It's very important, because they can say there are some clauses there, you're not comfortable with it. Realtors are trained to make sure they protect you, but they're not the lawyer. If there are tricky clauses that can cause and harm a client, seller, you better run through your lawyer. Tell your client to designate a lawyer and let them review the offer before you counter, reject, or offer. It's very important. And number 6, preparing your home is very, very important that you are praying. Get rid of all the clutter in the house, okay? And clean everything in the house. Repair as much you can within reason. Remember one thing, the buyer is coming, they're going to review your property. When they're walking, they're going to see the curb appeal, landscape, They're going to see how attracting your house is going in. When they go in and you see a nice location, but you have not done no upgrade, obviously the buyer is going to look at their CMA and see what would be the estimated value as compared to this house, what was sold most recently in the area, or one or two, and they come up with a budget. So they can see that if it's a little bit underlisted, they know that they need to upgrade. They will calculate that, and your realtor will say, okay, we can add another 50,000, 20, 100,000 to calculate this, to improve this. And you may have some renovator friend or available through network, and talk to him and get a kind of estimate how much going to cost granite counter, hardwood flooring, countertops, or bathroom upgrades. So you have that figure. Before you put an offer, you can do that calculation with your realtor, and this is why it's very important. And clean everything, and depersonalize your home, because you never want to have a customization to your home. You take out all the unnecessary personal pictures or belonging, and have a beautiful, open, and not to have information, religious symbols. No, don't take them out. You put them away, and where you want to, worship or whatever. But don't keep them as a part, because any buyer could be your client. And also some beautifying touches, because you can have a nice lamp, or some flowers, or some touch up to look nice. Make sure you paint your property. This is very important. Painting has a very significant impact, not only the wall, but also doors and window, where it allows it. And also remember that if you do improvement to your house, it gives you a return on your investment. So if you say you finish your basement, they might give you some return on that. Particularly if you have a second dwelling and that's rentable, and you have a building permit from your city. Believe me, your value of your house will increase if you have that. I sold a property in Mississauga, where I got a letter from an engineer. Yes, second dwelling is allowed, and the buyer has retained that person to get the permit and do some modifications, separate entrance, get the approval, and then obviously your home inspection, thing like that, and the buyer will have a potential to sell for more later on in a year or two and more. And this is why it's very important. You have to weigh in whether it's worth investing or let it go and let the buyer will do it. And this is it. It will increase the value of the property, because you're spending some cost to improve it. Is there any hidden problem with your house? You have to disclose that, particularly leakage, or your furnace quits on you, and or dishwasher is not working, or you have some other leakage issues in the house, and you put a new wall there. The inspector can detect the moisture. There's a contamination or any vapor or any leakage in the wall from there, because it's going to seep through the cracks in the foundation. It takes about $400, $500 to fix a crack on the window, and they give you lifetime guarantee. Fix it before you put a new wall. And this is very important. You have to see, you want to avoid problem, because you have to disclose, you have to be honest with people and disclose everything, and realtor too. So 7th step would be, let your realtor market your home. Once you have decided as a seller, your realtor will do marketing. Now we have a social MLS system, is one of the biggest broadcasting system, where your properties are disclosed to millions of people. Then you have, in our case, we have two. We have ITSO MLS system, we have a TREB MLS system. So on realtor.ca, you see two listing. If my company is listing, my brokerage is listing your property. Now, then we have a social media. You have TV shows. You have LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. These are all vehicles to promote and attract potential buyer. As long as information is in compliance, and especially realtors, you can go to rico.online and download advertising guidelines about what to include, not to include, and be accurate. If you don't have clarity or you want to say something, go to your broker of record and get him to approve your advertisement. And if the broker record feels something that he needs a help, he will write to RICO and get their clarity about what they can advertise, not to say, or what to say. This is very important. So then you have an open house. We have open house, and we have videos, virtual tour, 3Ds, and we also have interact videos, YouTube, everywhere. And then we also have to attend open houses, keep the valuable away from the property, and your house has to look attractive, presentable. This is very important. And also ask your client, whatever way we can help you, to make sure no hazardous material is kept in the house, valuables are moved away. Avoid cooking foods with the strong aroma because it gives you a smelling. So, and and also we have a lockbox. So we have a digital lockbox where when the appointment is given, and then you can track them, whether these people who have allowed that. Only licensed realtor, active licensed realtor whose license is valid with RICO can practice with the brokerage, and they can receive the confirmation through the broker bay now. And there are Showing Time and other one, but broker bay is very famous. They can go through the brokerage, get the information, they pass on to their agent. So we change them very frequently just to make sure we avoid any confusion. And next step is 8. Prepare your finances. This is part of what I said. When you are selling a house, you have an intent to buy a better home. That means you need to maximize the value, and you create extra income. You add and you buy something because you are upgrading. If you are downsizing, then you will have some money, surplus money for personal use to support your kids. That means that you are able to buy a home away from the city and save some money. You are buying a new home, which is a better home, a bigger home. You need some more money. Or you already bought a home and you are now selling this one. There could be a gap. Remember that when you're buying and selling property, there will be an appraisal from the lender, all bank. When you are putting 20% and up, there is always appraisal because the bank loan is not guaranteed by the federal institution. When you are buying less than 20%, it's called loan to value ratio is high, you go to CMAC. And CMAC guarantee to the bank, if the buyer default on payment, the government CMAC will guarantee to the lender. But anything over 20%, there is no guarantee from the federal. Therefore, the buyer, the bank will have to do their own independent assessment. And that's why they will do that. So this is very important. Don't rush it. I would recommend that you sell your home first so you know firm amount. The other thing you have to remember, the risk with that is also the deal may fall. You may end up buying another house, but your house did not sell for some reason. Buyer defaulted, they can forfeit their deposit, but you already committed with the other property. So you need to talk about bridging a loan and reselling the property to somebody else. There are multiple challenges, so it's very, very important to work with an experienced professional who can guide you. Now, you selected a property, you have received an offer on your property. Now, you're going to go through the conditions, terms and conditions with your realtor, and we explain you. If necessary, you can run through the lawyer if some challenging conditions comes in, particularly when you talk about assignment, because sometimes they buy it and they want to flip it and sell it to somebody else. So you have to be very careful about it. There are tax implications when the property is flipped, unless within the same family some name change are added or removed. It's very, very important to check that. And all the conditions that you have. is there any too much condition, or price is too low, or there are some conditions that you're not comfortable, or sale of the property will hold your property. So, and then you can risk of countering, rejecting, or accepting an offer. So these are the things. It all depends on your offer that is received, and you can accept it, you can reject it, or you can sign back or counter it. So there are reasons for that. You want more money, what is in the offer, or there may be some undesirable condition on the offer that you don't like it. Because offer is complete, is the money and irrevocable, and also completion date, and all the terms and conditions, they all go together. So you cannot give one preference over the other one. So you're looking at a price, it's irrevocable 24 hours, so we have to make a decision 24 hours to accept, counter, or reject an offer, or whatever that you want to do. Or price is good, or deposit you want to increase. These are, when you change the condition of the offer, it becomes a counter. Therefore, you have to be careful. And also, did the buyer has obtained the financing? You always want to know what the condition, because buyer will say, I need 5 days to get condition, get the financing, and their approval come lower, the appraisal come lower than what they bought, and if it's a condition, they might walk away. And these are the challenges that you have with the offer. Or inspection of the property, they discover some defects were not disclosed or not acceptable to the buyer, or some leakage in the house, roof needs to be replaced, or some cost that's beyond the budget of the buyer. And those conditions are part of the negotiation. It's art of negotiation. You negotiate on behalf of the seller. So your realtor will help you to do that. So the art of countering is to negotiate, because you have achieved certain level when there is an offer come in. Some people, I have noticed, that they throw very bad offer on you, but things are changing. As of today, our June prices of 2022 versus 23 has increased by 3.2%, average on Toronto Regional Real Estate Board data published for June. So we have surpassed the June 22 prices. So we are out of the wood now. So that means the price is going up. And obviously, so you form the deal, you negotiated a deal, you send the APS to the lawyer. So 10th step is closing the deal with the lawyer. So lawyer has a checklist, or you create a checklist. Send all the information to the lawyer. Mortgage has to be sent, agreement of purchase and sale, MLS data, any disclosure, anything that your survey, or you have a site plan, or you have a floor plan, is all in the terms of the agreement. You need to disclose that, and your lawyer will be talking to the institution with the bank to get the money from them to close or sell. If you are selling it, the buyer has to provide all the information. They send all the document and the money to the seller, and they get the money and they sign off on it, and it goes to the buyer. And nothing ends until it closes the deal. You always stay prudent and remain active as a seller, as a real estate professional. Communicate with everyone, because if seller has a mortgage, the mortgage information has to go to the lawyer, because lawyer will get a statement. If you are line of credit, or you have a third party, or you have any leased equipment that you're going to pay off during this, you need to make sure you provide to your lawyer. So get those agreement and give it to them so they can pay them off, because title has to be clear before it's transferred to the buyer, and the money is coming there to close the deal. It's very, very important, especially that any changes of circumstances happen, you notify your lawyer and your realtor. So you have a team of lawyer, you have inspection, you have a realtor, you have a mortgage agent or broker or the bank, and your crew, even the maintenance guy, renovation guy that you plan to hire, and you get his opinion about the cost of renovation. It's very, very important to follow these steps. These steps are available on my website. It's called city-pro.net, and buying, click on the buying and go down tips on buying. You will get all these 10-step guide to selling your home. You are watching Realty Coffee Talk on Awaz Entertainment in Canada, around the world. I request all my viewers to go and subscribe to Awaz Entertainment on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere, and also to watch all the episode on Awaz Entertainment YouTube, and also Realty Coffee Talk Entertainment. We have hundreds of episodes about real estate. Our goal is to increase awareness and building consumer confidence in real estate. All realtors can go there and watch the two. It's absolutely free. If you have any question about this program, please call me direct, 416-451-3489. 416-451-3489. My name is Tahir Qureshi. I see you next Thursday at 7 p.m. May God bless you all. May God bless Canada. Bye for now.